team on this list is 0-2. These are the 7 teams through 2 weeks who have already been eliminated from the Super Bowl picture. First, the Cleveland Browns, who I believe were the worst team coming into this season. The Cleveland Browns are absolutely done.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Josh Heupel. I mean, please, dude, you got to be kidding me. How do you lose this game at home when you've got Georgia on the ropes with a iffy quarterback at best there in Gunnard, and you somehow figure out a way to lose that game? A game, Donnie, which was pretty much in hand for Notre Dame, 3/4 of it.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
It's the most beautiful time of the year. No, not because of foliage or pumpkin spice lattes. It's because of football. SportsGrid has you covered all season long, covering every snap, every score, and every line move. Prepare, watch, win. Weekends are for winners. Only on SportsGrid.
I needed a mental break when the season was over. Because it's a lot. It's a lot. You get tired of training. But, man, I never get tired of playing golf. I love it. I mean, every course is different. Every day is different. And some days you're like, oh, I got this. I got it. Then you go out there and shoot a 95 the next day. I'm like, damn.
The Smiley Show. Only on SportsGrid.
Welcome in. It is in-game live game day on Thursday Night Football. How about that? Not Monday night, but Thursday night, Scott. We got a little baseball tonight. We got some wacky WNBA playoffs continuing this evening. How about the Brewers going for their 18th straight win with Quinn Priester on the hill? But all that takes backstage to our beloved Miami Dolphins. Perhaps the season is on the line, hosting Gabe's Buffalo Bad Bills. Should be a lot of fun over the next 3.5 hours. What's going on, Gabe? How are you tonight, bud?
I've been looking forward to kickoff all day. I never thought I'd be anticipating and waiting for a Rice and Charlotte kickoff, but there I was. They should have started at 7 instead of 7:30, but it is what it is. They're off and running there. You know, we're looking forward to seeing how this game plays out. Ian Rappaport just reported that McDaniel will not get fired. Like, it's not one of these, he's not about to get fired in the morning type of deals. That Stephen Ross is more concerned a couple of weeks from now. He's going to give it time. And the quote was, if fans stop showing up, and I don't know how you're going to be able to tell because fans never really started showing up at Miami Dolphin games. But this has been a very one-sided rivalry, as you know, Scott, over the years. Used to be a great rivalry in the Jim Kelly and Dan Marino days, and even going back to O.J. Simpson and the Electric Company and Shula and the Undefeated Team days and all that. But recent memory, guys, the Buffalo Bills have beaten them 9 of the last 10 times that they played. The Dolphins haven't beaten them since 2022. But, Scott, as you know, with that being stated, it's 9-1 straight up, 4-6 against the spread. The Dolphins have actually covered, and the Bills are not good double-digit favorites. Laying double digits on these Thursday nighters is not a profitable thing to do to begin with, but you throw in the division aspect, and you also throw in the fact that Storm Duck out, safety out. Dolphins have a lot of injuries at key positions, including their secondary. So I think the Bills are going to have success and put points up on the board against a team, Scott, that's given up 33 points a game in 2 games that they played, 66 points.
Yeah. It's been a weird, I'll date myself here, Gabe. It's been a crazy Buffalo-Miami rivalry over the last 40-plus years. You know, when one of the greatest sports slogans of all time, I have to hand it to Bills fans. Back in the Bob Greasy Miami Dolphins, O.J. Simpson Buffalo Bills days, the Bills fans came up with the slogan, you know, Miami has the oranges, but we have the juice, meaning O.J. Simpson. Great slogan, right? But Buffalo back then just couldn't beat Miami, even though they had O.J. Simpson. Then when the Dolphins had the great Dan Marino, if you look at the record, Dan and the Dolphins couldn't beat the Buffalo Bills. It's the weirdest thing. The superstars were on the losing end of it all. And then recently, like you said, it's been all Buffalo for the most part. So I do think, laying double digits in a division game is bad enough. And then laying double digits on a Thursday in a short week, that is tough. That really is. But we're going to need everything to actually win this game outright. Can we start there? So not only do we have me, but I brought my buddy here with me. So we need all the help we can get. So Mr. Miami Dolphin, we're all in tonight, buddy. We're all in. So I don't want to play too much of that. We'll get sued for copy infringement. But my buddy is here, Gabe. Any chance at all the Dolphins win outright? What do you think?
Oh, there's always a chance. There's always a chance, right? But, the Buffalo Bills usually win 3 games a month, and they'll take the pedal off the metal. I got to be honest. I didn't think the Bills were going to win 30-10 last week. I didn't think it would be that easy against the New York Jets. I'd like to see the Bills keep the pedal to the metal and actually try to go 15-2 type of deal, lock up home field. I think they sort of have that killer edge, but I don't trust Tua. I don't trust this offense. Jaden, Waddle's not 100%. I think there's going to be points, and man, when you're laying those type of points, guys, the back door is always open, right? I've got this game, Scott, is 35-21 type of deal. I don't think it's like a 41-0 beatdown or, the Dolphins are going to humiliate themselves. But over the course of time, I think the Bills are going to win this game by double digits. I played it. I'm laying the points. We'll lay 11. We'll buy the half point to 11. We were hoping it was going to come down a little bit. I do think this game goes over, guys. And full disclosure, I got the Bills in a million parlays, 10-point teasers, but I don't want to start giving you a bunch of 10-point teasers carried over into CFL games tomorrow right now. So, and other stuff that I got going on. And WNBA, Scott, I play Champions League parlays with the Bills today. So, but I figured, just for people here, I'm going to go over the number. I do like points in this game. We should be able to get to 51 points. I think James Cook is going to score a touchdown, guys, but let's throw it out there. He's going to score the first touchdown of the game. It's plus 375 only. But I think Cook will score the first touchdown. As a little bit of insurance, let's go with Josh Allen at plus 400. Either way we'll win, but I'm going bigger on Cook. Dalton Kincaid, over. I actually don't know what that means on the screen right there, but Dalton Kincaid over 3.5 receptions. It's not just Dalton Kincaid reception. I wish. Dalton Kincaid over 3.5 receptions is plus 110. Devon Achane over 5.5 receptions. Listen, Scott, he had 8 catches last week. Tua's going to be under pressure. He's going to have to dump it off a lot. Look for Achane to have a ton of catches out of the backfield. And Alec Ingold, the fullback on the Miami Dolphins. Who? Why? What? I love these props, Scott, when all I need is one catch from a guy. It's 0.5. Okay. He's been targeted like 4 times. He's got a catch. He's got 2 catches and 1 catch. So he's got 3 catches on the season. He's on the field quite a bit, actually. No reason why he doesn't get a catch here tonight at some point. Love it, though I only need 1 catch. And we'll go with Josh Allen over 233.5 passing yards. Even though I think James Cook will have his way today with them, I think they're going to be able to throw the football on a soft and bad Dolphins secondary. So, and it's pretty low for Josh Allen.
All right. Here's I got 4 reasons why the Dolphins can actually win outright tonight, Gabe. All right. 1, Miami is 3-20 as a road underdog, but they have 3 wins. It's not impossible. I'll hold on to those 3 wins as hope. Winless teams, Dolphins, versus non-losing teams, Buffalo, on Thursday night, 19-6-1 against the spread over the years. That's pretty good. Winless road dogs, Dolphins, cover 59% of the time, including 14-5 since last season. So winless teams kind of rally to the cause here. And then Tua tags 13-4 straight up against Super Bowl winning coaches. Oh, wait a minute. That's right. Sean McDermott's not a Super Bowl winning head coach. Let's scratch that last one from the list. I got 3 reasons. So that's all the salvos I got for you, Gabe, though, because when it's 40-0, I figure I got to empty out my wallet before the game starts. So you can have all the shots when the game begins. I got to throw them at you before the game starts.
I would say your 3 chances are more like sort of like what happened to Vince Coleman. Does Josh Allen get run over by like a greenskeeper or someone in a golf cart, like in the tunnel? Like, Does the locker room collapse on the Buffalo Bills in the next like 2 or 3 minutes that something happens? But all kidding aside, if you're the Dolphins, it is gut check time, right? And they did play a lot better against the Miami Dolphins. Again, the Dolphins played a lot better against the Patriots this past week, but the Bills don't like the Dolphins, and the Bills want to wrap up. The Bills are setting a tone here. I just think they're going to be too good for the Dolphins tonight, guys. Like I said, 35. If the final score, let's go 38-21 Buffalo. I'm going to try to get this in right now. I got 5 minutes. 38-21 Buffalo. It's pretty bold, actually. I just said it'll be close, and now I say 38-21.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. I've been close until the end. I'll use Buffalo winning 27-21. I'm going to go with the favorite in 27-20 each week. I got some player props. We could do those in-game. The two others that I like, one field goal each quarter. I saw 5-1 by either team. Just one field goal in each quarter. 5-1. I think we could get that at 5-1. And then each team to score a touchdown and a field goal each half that we always play. That is 15-1 for this game. But I like that 5-1, one field goal in a quarter. We'll break it all down when we come back to Game Live.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
I needed a mental break when the season was over. Because it's a lot. It's a lot. You get tired of training. But, man, I never get tired of playing golf. I love it. I mean, every course is different. Every day is different. And some days you're like, oh, I got this. I got it. Then you go out there and shoot a 95 the next day. I'm like, damn.
The Smiley Show. Only on SportsGrid.
I mean, I think so. You talk about how difficult it is to bring an expansion team into the league and have success in your first season. Like, that's fairly unheard of. And not only have success, but they're in the playoffs. So I think she certainly deserves to win Coach of the Year. There's a lot of different candidates that could potentially, you could make a case for them. But I think just with this being an expansion team and how difficult that is.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
It was nice to see that even though they couldn't follow the same blueprint as last season or just the way that everyone thought their offense was going to run this year, Josh Jacobs struggled and Jordan Love stepped up. And if you're a Packer fan, that's what you were hoping to see, is that in the moments where you can't rely on the run, can the quarterback that you invested a lot of money into, now draft capital, putting weapons around him, rise to the occasion, and he did.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
It's the most beautiful time of the year. No, not because of foliage or pumpkin spice lattes. It's because of football. SportsGrid has you covered all season long, covering every snap, every score, and every line move. Prepare, watch, win. Weekends are for winners. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. We are just underway here until the end of the Thursday night football game. Buffalo and the Miami Dolphins, they kick off here in about 5 minutes or so, actually. So plenty of time to get the other bets. And here real quickly are my player prop bets. I do like the over passing yards, Gabe, 238.5. Now, you're running the risk of this being a blowout in Buffalo, running the ball second half. But that's when you have this game, you just, sometimes you got to run the risk. I do think he gets to 240 passing. I do like like the Devon A chain, and I'm going to go at a different angle than you. I'm going to go over rushing attempts, 12.5. I think boy wonder genius there, Mike McDaniel on the offensive sidelines of the Dolphins, is going to see what Baltimore did and say, you know what, if Baltimore could run for 200 plus, then, that's our attack tonight. We don't want to get into a shooting match with Buffalo. So I think A-Chain's going to have every opportunity in the world. I think he gets 13 rushing attempts. And then Ty Hill over 5.5 receptions, just because, he's been complaining, and if he's a smart head coach, and I have my doubts about that, but national TV, if you don't get your big complainer, your big-time star the ball at least 6 times in Ty Hill, you're just asking for trouble. So I would be surprised, barring an injury, if Hill doesn't get 6 receptions tonight.
You know what? He's going to have to, I think, because they're going to be trailing. We should notice, kicking off like in a minute here right now. They're coming at us with a so-called 8:15 kickoff. They're lining up right now. What's the deal with the modern NFL hats? You notice this?
Yeah.
Like, you can't even tell. You can't even see the logo. Like, it's honestly like the level of merchandise just gets worse and worse on a yearly basis. Looks like Josh Allen's just wearing a blue hat. Like, there's this little mini like Bill logo in the middle of it. I'm like, really? Okay. It is like, what it is.
Who's buying those things? Right? Who's buying
why do they
that
make
versus
them?
a regular Bills hat? Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, is there a market for like a hat that doesn't really reflect the team you're supposed to be rooting for? Or
well, it's minimalist.
I
I get the whole minimalist thing, and well, here's a good way for the Dolphins to try to cover a point spread. They just returned the kickoff to the Buffalo Bill 45-yard line, so we're off and running.
Dolphins get the ball first.
I did, yeah. So Miami gets the ball first. I didn't play the long field goal prop. I didn't put it in.
Oh.
Yeah, tonight, and I always do during the primetime games. And I was going to do it, Scott, even though I didn't like it. One of those deals where I was like, yeah, I'll put a little bit smaller play on just because, it seems to happen when it's like 7-1 now in the primetime games. But I don't think, listen, Matt Prater, bro, he's like our age. Like, they're not asking Matt Prater to kick a 52-yard field goal unless, like, he absolutely positively has to. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if the Dolphins, like, I sort of see the game being touchdowns, and I don't know if the Dolphins are going to be going for that long of a field goal. I just didn't sort of feel it tonight in sort of the – so, yeah, I didn't get that in, but I did play a play I usually don't play. I played Tua to throw an interception tonight. He's got a pick in both games. He's got 3 interceptions already on the season. I figure at some point them playing behind tonight, Scott, that'll be a tip ball, something will happen, and there'll be an interception. And last comment, you mentioned McDaniel. He doesn't help himself, all right, with his comments in the press conferences and all this. Like, if you sell it, hey, we're giving it our all, and I swear this week you're going to see, and, like, there's a way to sell this to the media, but it's really hard. I saw him walk into the stadium a couple hours ago, dude, and it's like, you're a football coach. You're not a model. Like, you're not, like, in GQ. Like, I don't, like, he had, like, a jacket and a scarf and, like, his hair, and, like, if you're a football player, like, how the hell is this guy going to get you fired up before a game? I just don't see it. Like, he might be a smart, like, offensive mind and all this, but this isn't going to end well. So whether he gets fired in the morning or fired soon enough, Scott, he's getting fired. He's getting fired.
I really don't think it'll happen after this game. Let's go worst case scenario that they lose 37-7, something like that, right? I still don't think. I know it's a short week, so it gives them the long week, and that's when you look at the opportunities to fire a head coach, right? Before a bye, and then after you play a Thursday game, because the new head coach has a few extra days to get prepared, right? But I don't really think after 3 games. He just gave him a contract extension before last season also, by the way. So, I know Stephen Russ, a gazillionaire, and I know the fans are upset, more so now than ever before. But I'd be really surprised. Maybe at the end of the year, but not after 3 games.
One thing to defend him as well, they don't really have a lot of very good players. Like, let's just call it out for what it is. The roster's not very good. So, whoever no coach, it isn't like some coach could come in here and suddenly start winning all that much more. Yeah, they got humiliated in the first game. That's going to happen. But the roster's extremely flawed. They don't really have a vision for the future, right? They're sort of all over the place. They don't have any really, like, young star players, right? Like, so it's just they're a mediocre franchise. So, yeah, he's the face of it right now. So I get it. But they are moving the ball right now, Scott, as you see. They got a first down on the Buffalo Bill 21-yard line right now. And the point spread, guys, has moved down to 8.5. Total up to 51.5.
Wow. And so Ty Hill's got a reception already. Like I said, I would be surprised. I'm not a McDaniel fan, but he's not a complete idiot. If they don't get him the ball, Ty Hill, tonight, even if it's 6 passes that are 5 yards down the field, who cares? That's why I went with the receptions tonight. Here's the stat, Gabe, that is just, you can't run away from it. Like, I hear all these announcements. I'm a Dolphin fan, so I'm paying a little bit more attention to it. And I'm hearing all these people say, well, it's a struggle this year, and things were a little different last year, the 2 years before they made the playoffs, blah, blah, blah. It hasn't. It's been ever since McDaniel got there. This has not changed. The schedule may have changed, but the fact is the Dolphins are 3-20. We gave it out in the opening script. 3-20 as a road underdog. They don't win any games, Gabe. They're not supposed to. Against winning teams on the road, the Dolphins 2-14 with 2 tags. That's not just a 1 year or a couple of week thing. Against winning teams overall, Dolphins are 5-18 their last 23 games. 25-12 against losing teams. It has been a constant from the day McDaniel walked in. They beat the teams they're supposed to beat, and they lose the teams that they're supposed to lose to. He has not changed
but they weren't.
the culture or anything with the Dolphins.
But how many games was Flores winning before?
Well, he was a buffoon, too. He had no business.
Right?
It's the same guy that's calling timeouts down 50.
And the
He
thing
looked it up
is,
against the Baltimore Ravens with 2 minutes left. He's calling timeouts because he's down 50, thinking he's getting to get the ball back.
So it's really, it's a
upset.
franchise thing. I mean, we go over to, it's one of these deals. Like,
it's a Chris Greer thing. Chris Greer, the GM.
Yes, it's the GM. It's the GM. It's very similar, actually, to sort of the Chicago
with your
Bears.
NFL picks?
Right, where the Chicago Bears can go through, like, what's the difference now? Matt Eberflus, Nagy, whatever, Ben Johnson now. It's all the same, right? Nothing has changed. It's an organizational thing.
Now, see if the Dolphins is working.
Need help with your NFL picks? Get NFL insider knowledge from Pro Football Doc, Dr. David Chow, with Sick Picks at Sports Injury Central. We reveal hidden injury advantages the sports books miss. Our doctors provide insights, and our algorithm tells you who to bet on. Spreads, player props, totals, in-game bets, Sick Picks covers it all. Get a free week now with promo code SportsGrid at SickScore.com.
And I'll tell you, there are a lot of happy faces at Prime Video and its parent company, Amazon. The first Thursday Night Football game of their season was this past Thursday, and they got 17 million plus. And that is the best viewership they have had in the run of TNF. More than that, the internet and social media response to it was terrific. A lot of people felt that Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit have now really come into their own as a play-by-play team.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
I would say a phenomenal year for the UConn graduate, as Paige Beckers could have came out last year to the WNBA, and she decided to come out this year. It would have been interesting if it would have been Paige or Caitlin Clark. I don't think it would have been as slam dunk as people think to go to Caitlin Clark.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
They had clearly in hand at the end, especially in the second half, and yet somehow they managed a shank of a 60-yard field goal, and a flag comes in with no time left on for a penalty. Do you want to know how many times that penalty of leverage was called all last season? Want to take a guess?
How many?
4.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Survivor Pool players shuddering all over the place because the Miami Dolphins take the opening drive, which fortunately for them wasn't very long, down the field. I got like 4 entries on Buffalo, to tell you the truth. I got mixed emotions, so I'm shuddering a little bit. 6-7 Miami. Ollie Gordon, was he on your bingo card for first touchdown? What would the odds been for him? Maybe Alec Gordon, maybe. Yeah, so 7-0 Miami. They're still getting 6.5, and the over-under's up to 53.5.
Yeah, you know what? I think you could argue that this is, is it the sign of a track meet, a sign of things to come? Right? The Miami Dolphins, I expected the Dolphins to get into the 20s, right? So I'm not shocked that they put points up on the board. You'd like to see Buffalo stop the run a little bit better than they did. That's the one thing. Buffalo, they're not a great home favorite. They will play down to the level of competition, right? But I'm tempted with the over here. It's 53.5 right now. I expect Buffalo to respond on this drive. There's going to be points in this game. Like Miami are playing for their season, essentially. You start 0-3. We went over the numbers of being 0-2 last week. You got a 12% chance of making the playoffs, only as it is now. Right? Like, you've got to win. So I would expect, like, McDaniel, like, he's got his best playbook tonight. Like, he's ready. He's got his, sort of season on the line here. So I expect Miami to put points up on the board. And I think Buffalo are going to respond. So let's say Buffalo score right now, Scott. What's it going to jump? Let's say they score a touchdown. It's going to jump to like 56.5, 57.5, right? If they kick a field goal, it'll kind of stay the same. So I think we have more reason to jump in than not jump in. You know what I mean? Instead of saying, let's wait. But I think Buffalo at least kick a field goal. Let's say something weird happens. They turn the ball over, and next thing you know, it's 14-0 Miami. That helps the over as well. So I'm going to jump in on the over. This is me trying to stay positive as a Bills fan. It's too early to get mad, Scott, but I'll be like, I'll bet more on the over.
I'll give you a couple of nuggets I found with the Bills that are interesting. First off, team total. NFL best of the Buffalo Bills, 17-4 over their team total. It's down to 30.5. It was 31.5. The fact that Miami scored just gives, the Bills one more reason to get to 31 points
like
versus, leading 24.
Though. Like betting a team in the NFL to score 30-plus points is not like I know they do it all the time, but it's like, wow. It's crazy.
Since Joe Brady has been their offensive coordinator, they've scored 30 points. They're 18-5 with Brady, and they've scored 30 points in over half the games, 12 of the 21. So if they have a reason, I think they scored. How about this one? When opposing teams score 21 points against the Bills, this goes to your point where they don't really cover big numbers. Buffalo's only 5-23 against the spread since 2020. So if you think Miami's going to get 21,
they do play down to the level of opponent or play up. They'll play up or down to the level of opponent, Buffalo a lot, and they'll also take the pedal off the metal, Scott. Right? Like last week, the Jets were just bad, so it just sort of, it was an easy win for them. But the Bills will, or I guess the best way of putting it is, as good as the Bills are, they don't string together 4 quarters all the time. Look at the Baltimore game in week 1. They really didn't play that well, right? Their defense was terrible. Like their offense was hit or miss, and they came back late, right? So last week, they got a bad Jet team, but as I stated, they have a hard time. Like, to me, that's what's held them back, actually. Like, they lose to the Kansas City Chiefs in the playoffs, but they actually lose in the regular season when they mail it in against a bad team and stuff. They always, have a bad loss, the Bills. I don't, is it going to happen tonight? We'll see, but bad start for Buffalo. They're down 7-0, and I see they just got you got a 15-yard penalty, personal foul on him.
Yeah. I'll throw one more goofy thing. I didn't know this one. I don't know if you knew this one. They have the longest streak in NFL history, do the Buffalo Bills, Gabe, of winning the turnover battle. They've won the turnover battle in 24 straight games. I've not seen that prop as far as which team will have more turnovers. I mean, you can bet Tua for interceptions. You find ways to bet a turnover for Miami. But how about that? They've won the turnover battle 24 straight games. So if that's a prop somewhere on one of your sites, you play the Buffalo
I'm expecting
Bills.
Him to turn it over like the next play after you say this now.
yeah, I know, right?
I'm serious. Yeah. I'm like, oh, yeah, it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah, it's coming. Put the black cloud on them. So 7-0. We got H-Chain doing well. We got Ty Hill doing well. WNBA, Atlanta by 7 at the half. We'll look at that when we come back real quickly.
look at the weather, try to look for some anytime touchdowns or maybe some props that you really feel confident about. But it's always the time for urgency, especially for a team like the New York Giants. I think that defense is something that can give Giants fans hope. And then if you get Dart under center, it's hope. And then if you can get Scatterboo out there and the whole building's going boo, it's hope. And as we know, hope works.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
If you're in the Super Bowl market, if you're in the futures market, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill is heavily connected to the Kansas City Chiefs. I am sure it would be Tyreek's first place if he could pick to go back to. At least I would think it would be. And the Chiefs have a need, and the Chiefs are interested, and they're not worried about any of his other question marks.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
It's the most beautiful time of the year. No, not because of foliage or pumpkin spice lattes. It's because of football. SportsGrid has you covered all season long, covering every snap, every score, and every line move. Prepare, watch, win. Weekends are for winners. Only on SportsGrid.
They had clearly in hand at the end, especially in the second half, and yet somehow they managed a shank of a 60-yard field goal, and a flag comes in with no time left on it for a penalty. Do you want to know how many times that penalty of leverage was called all last season? Want to take a guess?
How many?
4.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the grid. So just like that, Dolphins make a nice little statement, opening drive. They return the kickoff back right around midfield. They take it in 5, 6, whatever, 7 plays later, 7-0, everything going their way. You make a nice little stand here. Buffalo gets a big penalty, 15-yarder. You push them 3 and out. You get the ball back and get around midfield. But that was the dream. Buffalo right down the field they go, Gabe. Down to the Dolphin 30-yard line at 2nd and 7. It's 7.5. It was 6.5, and that might be the best number you get with Buffalo all night long. That's 6.5 under a touchdown. Like I could see not wanting to lay 11.5. You had a chance to get them under a touchdown, and like I said, if they score here, it's going to go back up to double digits, especially if it's a touchdown. So we'll see what happens. And then they got it down to the 21. The Dolphin defense stinks.
8.5.
53.5. 8.5.
It's 8.5 now. I see 54.5. I clicked to 53.5. It's going to jump. Like I said, I expected Buffalo to march down the field and kick at least a field goal. We'll see if they can score a touchdown. We had Cook to score the first touchdown of the game at plus 375, guys. But during the commercial break, when we just went to it, I saw Cook was plus 275 to score the next touchdown of the game. So instead of 375, it's 275. I put a little play in it. We got Cook to score a touchdown in this game as well. But Buffalo responding pretty quickly. Yet, so is the clock is ticking, right? This is very reminiscent of the Charger and the Raider game, guys, where, it feels like, it's moving along. Miami went down. They scored a touchdown. But, Buffalo now have eaten up a lot of clock. We're already into the 4-minute mark, Scott, of the first quarter right now. So the clock is moving. It'd be, for the total, this kind of is big here, whether Buffalo gets a field goal or a touchdown.
Yeah. I tell you, Gabe, I without knowing for sure, but the way they run the clocks now and everything, if you actually did how much action there is versus the length of the game. Touchdown.
That was quick. Dalton Kincaid, touchdown.
Oh, he's on my fantasy team. He's
Dalton Kincaid.
I'll
tell you what, this is one of these. This is one of these deals where if you look at the play here, it would have been a Cook touchdown. He caught the ball like the 5, and he nearly got shoestringed, and he stumbled his way into the end zone. He nearly fell on his own on like the 2-yard line, and then it would have been Josh Allen or Cook that would have scored. But Kincaid stumbles his way into the end zone We've got Kincaid over receptions. I want to play him touchdown as well, but you can't play everybody. Like, it's one of these deals. You can't play everybody, but the Buffalo Bills guys, they drafted Kincaid in the first round a couple of years ago. He's been good, not great, right? Like, they're not upset, but they were hoping that he would be sort of like, a star type of player. They were and he had personal issues like illness in the families type stuff. Like, he had a lot of weird things happen to him off the field and no fault of his own. But they really wanted to emphasize this year, Scott, like to have him a bigger part of the passing attack. And they wanted him to step up, and he had a good camp, and they're rewarding him by throwing the football. He's a good football player for Utah Ute.
Yes. Yeah. I think he only had, I want to say 3 maybe touchdown receptions last year. It has already got 2 so far this season. So they threw him a lot last season, but he just wasn't, getting the ball in the red zone, whereas now 2 touchdowns. So it's a pen in the extra point, 7-6.
Because Dawson Knox. I'll just throw it out there. Dawson Knox, the Bills' other tight end, is a better blocker. So he's on the field more. Right. So they sort of, but they wanted, they don't mind that. They sort of wanted Knox to do the dirty work and have Kincaid sort of as that more hybrid type of tight end wide receiver. But as you see, he's very athletic, good football player. And he's Canadian, actually. He's a dual citizen, but he was born, he's from Vegas. He grew up in Vegas. He's Canadian, and he played at Utah. He's got a weird story. He's all over the place. But they're hoping that he's on Team Canada in the Olympics. That's why I bring that up for flag football.
Right. Utah, big game this weekend against Texas Tech. I'm looking forward to that one on Saturday afternoon, which, by the way, is criminal that it starts at 10 o'clock in the morning local time. But we'll get into that a little bit later on. So Buffalo ties it 7-7. Moment of truth lines up to 9.5. So it didn't quite go as high as I thought it might go back to the original number, but a little discount on that. It's up to 55.5 as far as the total goes. And now it's kind of a moment of truth for the Dolphins again. They're going to have a series of these tonight. The opening drive, first possession. Let's see what you do. You don't want to go 3 and out. They didn't. They failed on defense. And now, okay, you got punched. You punch them. They punch you right back. You got to respond. You can't go 3 and out here. Otherwise, the whole thing will flip on the Dolphins. So we'll see what they do here. Get 9.5. 55.5. A little surprised it's not a little higher than that, right? It was 50.5, and you got 2 touchdowns with 4 minutes left in the first quarter.
You know what this is? The pace of it.
A little higher than that.
It's the pace of it. As you say, 55.5. It popped up to 56.5, but I see it just drop back down to 55.5. It's almost the whole first quarter, so it's almost like the math adds up, right? 14-14, you get to 56. Right in the quarters, they don't think the Dolphins are going to score the next 2.5, 3 minutes here before the end. Right. But like you said, every drive is so big for the Dolphins because they fall behind with their sort of quick hit passing attack. It's not really built to come back from behind. You know that, right? You know that as a Dolphin fan. A lot of dink and dunk stuff. And then the Bills can sort of tee off, Scott, and know that Tua's got to pass. Like, you got to run the ball to keep the Bills honest. Otherwise, their pass rush will get to you. But, the Bills don't have Ed Oliver tonight, and they don't have Matt Milano tonight. 2 pretty key contributors to their defensive schemes.
Yeah. All right. So, as one thing I was saying before about the clock, too, Gabe, is if you watch this stuff, it used to be if you went out of bounds, no matter what the situation, clock stopped and it didn't start again until you ran the next play. Then they changed it and then said, we're going to give about 5 seconds, then we'll start the clock again. Now, there is like literally a pregnant pause, maybe a second before they start that clock right up again. The game itself
like the refs have
is
the
still
under.
3 hours. Yeah. I mean, it's amazing. The game is still 3 hours because, listen, guys, we got to make this a 3-hour game. But we're putting more and more commercials in. We got to speed up the game, the actual game itself.
They're very stingy. They're very stingy with giving players out of bounds, too, Scott. I know as a betting man, I bet on a lot of overs. Sometimes I'm like, dude, he got tackled on the bench. How is that not out of bounds? Yeah, and there's a ref's like, no, keep it going. I'm like, keep it going. He's lying like 8 feet away from you. Like, he didn't go there himself. Like, you know what I mean? They're like, oh, keep it going. Yeah, they're trust me, as a betting man, I notice all this little clock stuff, and you're right. It's so fast. Yeah. Right? They away. They put the ball down, and right away, and it starts going again, even when they go out of bounds. Right? And look at college. We used to get the bonus of they'd stop the clock quickly for the first down. We don't have that anymore in college either. Try to squeeze the over better out here. They're trying to put
really
me out of business.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. Listen, it's a dangerous sport, and you want to make it as less dangerous as possible. But you can't not have football. It is what it is. You're going to have 3-4 drives tops a quarter, and depending on this Dolphin drive, you could literally have just 3 drives. And those other drives weren't like 8-9 minutes. There's 6 minutes here,
Yeah,
6
this is
minutes
becoming
there.
a trend.
The quarter's
Actually,
over.
it wasn't just the Raider game. This is sort of becoming a mini trend in the NFL right now. Of teams just like. They're happy to have the ball. It's like, yeah, whatever. This is good. And whatever happens at the end of the drive. The Raiders was a little different. That was just ineptness. Like, God, like 20 plays, 11 minutes. Like you picked up like 45 yards and you don't get anything out of it. Like, it's just one of those, like, God, that was bad. So here's the Dolphins get stuffed. They have to punt from pretty deeply, from about their own 15-yard line. The punter's going to be standing at. Not a great drive for the Fish here, Scott. Bills getting the ball back. Point spread just jumped to 12.5.
Yeah, look at that. No points being scored. Dolphins just have to punt. You have no idea where
From
the punt's
6.5
going.
12.5
to 12.5. How crazy is that? Wow.
And if the Bills score a touchdown, it's going to be like 16.5.
Yeah. That's what they're telling you, right? I don't think they have any faith in Miami. It's going to be one of those where Miami's going to have to prove itself all night long. In-game live continues here on the Grid.
Look at the weather, try to look for some anytime touchdowns or maybe some props that you really feel confident about. But it's always the time for urgency, especially for a team like the New York Giants. I think that defense is something that can give Giants fans hope. And then if you get Dart under center, it's hope. And then if you can get Scatterboo out there and the whole building's going boo, it's hope. And as we know, hope works.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
If you're in the Super Bowl market, if you're in the futures market, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill is heavily connected to the Kansas City Chiefs. I am sure it would be Tyreek's first place if he could pick to go back to. At least I would think it would be. And the Chiefs have a need, and the Chiefs are interested, and they're not worried about any of his other question marks.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
It's the most beautiful time of the year. No, not because of foliage or pumpkin spice lattes. It's because of football. SportsGrid has you covered all season long, covering every snap, every score, and every line move. Prepare, watch, win. Weekends are for winners. Only on SportsGrid.
They had clearly in hand at the end, especially in the second half, and yet somehow they managed a shank of a 60-yard field goal, and a flag comes in with no time left on it for a penalty. Do you want to know how many times that penalty of leverage was called all last season? Want to take a guess?
How many?
4.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the Grid. Scott and Gabe, hour number 1. We got some football. They're in a commercial break. Dolphins just punted, so it gives us an opportunity to take a peek at the baseball WNBA. Elimination game. It's a best of 3 in the first round of the WNBA. So Indiana and Atlanta squaring off right now. We got Seattle, Las Vegas a little bit later on. Listen, I know this is chalky, Gabe, but I like both favorites, especially after they both lost and lost really embarrassingly in different ways. Atlanta just got shut down completely, played like garbage, and then Vegas blowing a 14-point late third quarter lead. So I played Atlanta. I played the over again, not as much as I played it the other day when I really thought we'd get a bunch of points. Naturally, we're getting them right now. Just started the third quarter, 57-49 Atlanta over Indiana. A little bit closer than I thought. I'm giving Indiana credit for hanging around. I thought Atlanta would come out and really blitz them. In fact, they were down early, believe it or not. But 9.5 and 178.5.
I like Vegas more tonight minus the points. I have an Atlanta.
Me too.
I have an Atlanta Dream. I got the Atlanta Dream in a few parlays, but I got an Atlanta Dream Vegas moneyline parlay with the Buffalo Bills attached to it. But I'm going to play the Aces minus the points a little bit later on. The Fever have shown us a lot. They are a scrappy team. It was Kelsey Mitchell. She's on fire right now, even with all the injuries. She's going off. So I was a little bit weary of it, but Atlanta have been a very good home team. They're the better team. Expected them to win tonight. But I'm surprised, Scott, is as high scoring as it has been. Because, it's been a weird series. They either start off slow and then really pick up the pace, or they start off hot and it really slows down. So I'm just sort of like burnt out from the totals. The Vegas-Seattle series, both games have gone over. Right? That was one thing we didn't talk about the other night because we were like, they didn't cover, they lost the game. But it was 162, and I got to 167, 169 or whatever. And, 169. Tonight it's like 159. I saw Asia Wilson today being interviewed. They were all business. She was pretty serious about this tonight. She basically said, like, we got stupid. We're taking every possession. She talked about how Becky Hammond, like, really, really went postal on them after the game. That was an embarrassment, humiliation. Like, I think Vegas are ready to play tonight. Seattle, Scott, showed a lot of guts the other night on their home court, but they also were losing by 14 points in the second half. Vegas are going to roll them tonight, I think.
Yeah. And it's the second time in a row, Gabe, that in this WNBA playoffs, a team is down one last night with a 3.5 or so second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. And the team down one.
That cost me the over last night. I don't want to relive that.
Exactly. It's
I don't
funny.
know. I don't know why.
I don't know why they would do that. Well, why would a coach take the chance? Because you need three things to happen. One, you need the opposing team to miss their shot. Two, you need to get the rebound off that shot. And three, you need to have the ball come to you right away off the rebound and not kind of ricochet on the board.
There's no guarantee the other team's going to hit their free throws either. Like, you're assuming, we see it.
And even
Asia Wilson.
You're only down 3.
I saw it the other night. We're watching the Vegas game, and they're like, Asia Wilson's one of the best free throw shooters in the league. Brick. She clanked like 2 under pressure late in the game. It happens all the time, and it happens in the NBA. It's going to happen in the WNBA. I was thinking about, like, Nikasi and Becky Hammond are buddies too, right? Nikasi was the assistant with the Aces before. It's their mentality of, we talked about it. I don't mind it, Scott. I get it if you're going for a steal. But if you're just standing there and letting them, like, take the time off the clock, it's kind of pointless and stupid. But speaking of which, pointless and stupid, Rice and Charlotte are still playing football right now. Quick update, Scott. 7-6.
Okay.
Total was light. It was 42.5 for a reason. So we got a 7-6 battle going on in Charlotte right now, late in the first half. And, Charlotte, it's all you can eat food for free. It's included in the ticket, Scott. If you go to a Charlotte 49er game. Yeah. Hot dogs, popcorn, and soft drinks.
That's not bad, right? Figure you eat $25 worth, but heck, I'd eat more than that if I knew it was for free. I'd bring the whole family. I'd bring the neighbor's kid. Let's go.
It's cheaper to go to the game and eat than go to McDonald's with the family. Exactly. All right, kids, we're going to the college football game. They got a promotion because no one goes to Charlotte 49er games. So they're like, all right, listen, $20, you get in, and we'll give you a couple of hot dogs and you just go up. They're just out there. So the concession, you just go up and help yourself type of deal.
Cool. All right. I played them straight a little bit, and I put them in a 3-team 10-point tease. I took Buffalo. I took Rice +8. And then I took, who did I take? I took Rutgers tomorrow. I hooked it up with the Rutgers.
I've got a similar one. So every bookie and every sport, like anyone that does the 10-point teasers and everything, they're just rolling their eyes like on the Buffalo thing. Because, I did this. I got a bunch of them with Buffalo, the 10-point teaser, 3-team banger. But I did one, same thing, Buffalo, Rice plus the 8, and over 40 in the Bills game. And I even got cocky. I did another one where I got Bills, whatever, tomorrow, some other stuff, and I went over 32.5 in this one, Scott. Like, I won't cry if we don't get to 43 here, but I want to get to 33 in this college game. 7-6.
Just got a field goal.
Oh, God. All right, so field goal in the NFL. Yeah, field goal. We got breaking news on the Charlotte game. Their quarterback is hurt. Their quarterback is hurt. Like, for real. Like, he just left the game. Like, he's going to the room. Harrell, their quarterback. He was their best player. He's a North Carolina transfer. Like, they don't have, like, some 5-star ready to step up in Charlotte, Scott. There's going to be a big drop-off, whoever comes in here.
Wow. All right. Well, they just kicked a field goal, so they lead 9-7.
There goes the over. There goes the 33.
Yeah.
I was just talking about.
Unless your only hope is this kid is so bad to back up that, you know what, it's just interception, pick six, or 3 and out. But that's not exactly
maybe
what
surprises us, but it can't be good. It's just you've been warned. If you're on Charlotte, their quarterback just went to the room.
Yeah, that's not good. 37.5 and Rice is basically pick a -1.5 even money. So, all right, so we both need Rice to kind of pick up the slack here a little bit. They're after one football, NFL wise. So Buffalo's got the ball right down the field. They went, the Dolphins did not force in 2 games. The Dolphins have this is so sad. It really is. The Dolphins have forced 2 punts. They've played 2 games. Indianapolis didn't have to punt at all, and the Patriots last week only punted twice.
That's wild.
Buffalo's got it inside the Miami Red Zone. Oh.
Look at the weather, try to look for some anytime touchdowns or maybe some props that you really feel confident about. But it's always the time for urgency, especially for a team like the New York Giants. I think that defense is something that can give Giants fans hope. And then if you get Dart under center, it's hope. And then if you can get Scottaboo out there and the whole building's going boo, it's hope. And as we know, hope works.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
If you're in the Super Bowl market, if you're in the futures market, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill is heavily connected to the Kansas City Chiefs. I am sure it would be Tyreek's first place if he could pick to go back to. At least I would think it would be. And the Chiefs have a need, and the Chiefs are interested, and they're not worried about any of his other question marks.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
It's the most beautiful time of the year. No, not because of foliage or pumpkin spice lattes. It's because of football. SportsGrid has you covered all season long, covering every snap, every score, and every line move. Prepare, watch, win. Weekends are for winners. Only on SportsGrid.
They had clearly in hand at the end, especially in the second half, and yet somehow they managed a shank of a 60-yard field goal, and a flag comes in with no time left on it for a penalty. Do you want to know how many times that penalty of leverage was called all last season? Want to take a guess?
How many?
4.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, we are back in Game Live, Game Day here on the grid. Hour number 1. We'll be here for about 3.5 hours, depending on how long this NFL game goes. And it's not going well for Dolphin fans. We are tied. I say we. You see the Dolphin jersey here. 7-7.
Well, you don't lose at 17-0. Could be going much worse, to be honest.
Yeah, that's true. At least we get half entertainment out of it before it ends up being
the Bills are about to score. That's the problem. The Bills are about to score.
Did you
like a first and
triple
goal
down
from the 5.
Did you triple down on your Cook touchdown?
No, not for the next one. I'm 0 for 2.
Oh, you know he's scoring here then, right?
And here, see? Oh, God.
If he does.
See, Josh is a nice guy. Josh could have easily ran that into the end zone. He decided, I'll hook Dawson Knox up now with a touchdown. Like, and you know what, Scott? It's almost cocky. Watch this, what he did. Like, dude, it's almost like he's an NBA point guard, and like it's not even football with Josh Allen. Like seriously, like that was really dangerous and dumb what he did, but he made it look so easy. It's like, bro, just run it. You're running it in, and you threw it in between 2 Dolphins. He just went like John Elway type style, like Hall of Fame. Yeah, I'm John Elway. Look what I can do. Look at what he just did. Like, that was some wild stuff, man. If what are you going to say if you're the coach? But I would have preferred, all right, Josh, just run into the end zone next time. Don't start like pulling this John Elway, Patrick Mahomes stuff. But nice play. Yeah. So there's Allen with another touchdown pass.
Yeah. His number was low this year. I know I put it in. I forget what it was. We had talked about it when we had our preseason numbers. It was like 25 or something. It was really low. So he's got 2 tonight. I didn't see that prop. I bet it was 1.5. It normally is. So
they're 15.5 point favorites now.
Oh yeah, you're right. Jeez, I'm seeing it now. Yeah, that little flip there. What are you doing, brother? I mean,
you see what I mean?
3 Dolphins around it. Just put your head.
He easily could have ran it in.
But
no, that's like Magic Johnson. I'm gonna thread the needle like through your legs on a basketball court.
Yeah,
like
rather do a
like,
dunk.
Bro, just do the layup next time, Magic. Yeah, we get it. You can pass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it was really cocky what he did. Like if I'm like put it this way, Scott, you imagine a Dolphins defense like watching that on tape, like when they're back home, like when they got to watch that, just going, oh God, like we're getting trolled now. Like guys are doing trick shots on us now.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Behind the back, put it between your legs.
Because you saw he could have walked it into the end zone, bro.
Yeah.
He could have walked it in. There was 3 jerseys there, like white jerseys. He's like, let me just throw it in here.
Yeah. He's at the 5, rolling to his right or his left. The receiver is at the goal line, and then he's surrounded by like 3 Dolphins. So instead of just, as Gabe said, just go to the corner of the end zone and get in, he's trying to thread the needle between 3 Dolphin players, which he did. Touchdown Bills, 14-7, just like that.
15.5.
This might be one of those. You got 15. Yeah, FanDuel's giving me 14.5. 55.5. See, it'll get to 56 if the Dolphins do their share. And if this is the danger, 37-7, Dolphins all of a sudden realize they're done. I don't think they're going to lay over, but you need 2 to tango in the NFL to get to 56
It sounds cliche.
Points.
We've been saying it every drive, but this is a big drive for the Dolphins because the wheels can start to fall off for them, right? All right, you're down 7 right now. Fine. You go out here and go 3 and out or turn the ball over or something, and suddenly it's 21-7 and Bills Mafia is going crazy. Not going to end well for the Miami Dolphins tonight.
I mean, if you're Chris Ash, Dolphins defensive coordinator, remember the former Rutgers head coach, right? I mean, I don't know how many I meant to look that up, but I do know that
there's
they've
their
only
problem
allowed
right
2
there.
punts.
With all due respect to Rutgers,
I know.
There's their problem.
He was bad. He was
what did he do in Rutgers,
Scott?
What did he do in Rutgers?
Nothing.
Like if you tell me, we're hiring Greg Schiano, I'll be like, oh yeah, Schiano.
Right.
But Ash, what the hell did this guy do? He went like 2-10 every year, 3-9.
Literally, he did.
So he gets promoted to the NFL.
Yeah,
what the hell?
That's the Dolphins. By the way, I meant to bring this up. We were talking about Chris Greer, right? Being the GM.
Sorry, Scott, but the Chargers hired Jesse Minter, the Michigan guy, from the defensive coordinator, national champion. Stephen Ross, like it's bizarre world to me that like he hires Rutgers guys. Stephen Ross and the Dolphins, he could have hired Harbaugh, but he didn't want to take him from Michigan. It's like, bro, he's going to leave anyways. You might as well just hire him. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Literally. That was the reason.
Like, Stephen Ross loves Michigan more than the Dolphins, it seems. Hey, God bless him for it, but.
Crazy. All right, in-game live, game day, quick little break. Hour number 2 coming up next here on the Grid.
look at the weather, try to look for some anytime touchdowns or maybe some props that you really feel confident about. But it's always the time for urgency, especially for a team like the New York Giants. I think that defense is something that can give Giants fans hope. And then if you get Dart under center, it's hope. And then if you can get Scatterboo out there and the whole building's going boo, it's hope. And as we know, hope works.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
If you're in the Super Bowl market, if you're in the futures market, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill is heavily connected to the Kansas City Chiefs. I am sure it would be Tyreek's first place if he could pick to go back to. At least I would think it would be. And the Chiefs have a need, and the Chiefs are interested, and they're not worried about any of his other question marks.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
It's the most beautiful time of the year. No, not because of foliage or pumpkin spice lattes. It's because of football. SportsGrid has you covered all season long, covering every snap, every score, and every line move. Prepare, watch, win. Weekends are for winners. Only on SportsGrid.
They had clearly in hand at the end, especially in the second half, and yet somehow they managed a shank of a 60-yard field goal, and a flag comes in with no time left on it for a penalty. Do you want to know how many times that penalty of leverage was called all last season? Want to take a guess?
How many?
4.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the grid. Hour number 2 of our 3.5 hour extravaganza. We got football, a little college football, obviously the NFL, a little baseball.
We got a touchdown, Wetzel.
Tonight.
Rice
Owls. Be the
Owls.
Dolphins.
No, Rice Owls.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I just keep on top of everything here. I'm just got my eye on everything here. Yeah, touchdown.
We'll take that.
Touchdown, Rice. Up to 14-9 right now. We got a track meet.
Whoa.
Shootout.
Are they going for 2, or is that with the 1? That would be with the 1, right?
No, they've won for
7.
They scored 2 touchdowns, and But as I stated, so the quarterback Harrell got knocked out of the game for Charlotte. He's not in here right now, but right on cue, Wetzel, this kid's throwing the ball better than the last kid did. Like the last kid could sort of run around a bit, but looks like this kid can throw. They're already in the red zone or on the 25-yard line of Rice right now suddenly. So.
Wow.
You know, it's not the game of the century here, ESPN Classic in the future, but we got money on it. I got Rice in the over.
Exactly. It's good as USC Notre Dame, but with Rice Charlotte, what's the difference? If you have money on it? Money's the same. Exactly.
Sean Higgs is in Rice country, actually. He doesn't eat a lot of rice, as you see looking at him, but he is in Rice country.
I do like a little rice, but I prefer my rice when it's smooshed together and turned into a giant loaf of bread that I can put mayonnaise and cheese on. That's 100% better.
All right.
It's a giant sourdough or something.
Are you actually on the Rice Charlotte game? I'll start there. Why not?
I got Charlotte in 5.5.
Really? I put them at a 5.5. Oh, in-game live betting when they were down?
No,
early?
you know what? It actually opened at 6.5 earlier in the week. Yeah, there was even 6.5s out there earlier in the week.
Really? Wow.
Everybody bet on Charlotte, Scott, for some reason. Yeah, I know. Everyone, exactly. Everyone likes Charlotte here tonight.
They look so bad. I mean, 3 points. I mean, they look terrible. And yet they're getting points like for a team that's been written off as a terrible team. I mean, come on. Look at, what they do against North Carolina. They got run out by a backup quarterback in another game. They haven't looked good, but the points I was like, who's Rice to be laying that?
So you're not selling us on why you took them. You're telling us how bad they are.
Yeah, really.
Well, that's why
you bet them, right? You didn't go against them. You bet them.
He sounds like your opposite picks, but he didn't go opposite.
Yeah.
But I took the Browns this weekend. I took the Browns at 7.5. I'm like, you know what? I'm taking Cleveland. Right?
I think the Browns win.
Oh, they're terrible.
What is the
Green Bay
Packers?
just beat like playoff teams.
You guys calling the upset?
Yeah, that's my upset. You have Philadelphia Rams. I got the Browns.
Got the Rams. Got the Rams this week.
There was a pretty good stat I saw. It's goofy, but get a load of this. 7-point home dogs in the first 9 games of the season. 18-1-2 against the spread the last 3 years.
Why is it?
So
that's
sounds
about right to me.
That's a big, yeah. I think Cleveland keeps it close. They were even close last week until Baltimore ended up blowing them out in the fourth quarter, and then they could have beat Cincinnati. Really should have.
Exactly.
Kicks a couple of field goals. So getting over a touchdown.
Scott, you get built in. What did everybody see last week? You saw Green Bay on Thursday night beat up a good Redskins or Commander team, right? So people are thinking, look at this. These guys are great. They got extra rest. Cleveland's terrible. They just think Cleveland's bad. Cleveland's a tough team, man. They don't quit on their coach. They like the coach. They will play tough. They were right there in game 1, and a couple of miscues is, Cleveland's prone to do. But that was a bad spot for them. Baltimore was going to come out after losing that game Sunday. That was just you were walking into a heater right there. You were going to be in trouble. But I think this is a good spot for them here. Give me 7.5. It's tough to win on the road, and then you got to win by margin.
It does feel sort of trappish. It feels sort of trappish for the Green Bay Packers this game. Like, I looked at, obviously it's going to be a very popular survivor pick, right? People are going to be looking at it. I wouldn't personally, like Sean said, like Scott said, Cleveland do have talent. They're in they're in a tough division. Their schedule is really hard. They're a mismanaged organization, but they do have a bunch of good players just because they draft high all the time, and they screw it up 50% of the time, but they get it right sometimes. But that game does feel very, very trappish. But I'm with you guys. I said, remember, Scott, I said it last night. I believe it was. I don't know if it's a really super hot take, though. The Rams are only getting 3 points, plus 160 on the money line. But I think the Rams are going to beat the Eagles outright. Like, how many games in a row the Eagles won? Like, they won this, going through the playoffs last year. They're not going undefeated. Like, there's a loss coming. Yeah. They're not playing that well. They can't throw the football. Like, I don't want to ban the tush-push brotherly shove thing, but they are basically a rugby team, right? They throw for like 111 yards a week. Let's call it out for what it is. The Rams in a revenge spot. I just think the Rams are a better football team than they are, like, right now this week. Not, whatever, but, like, I like the Rams to win the game outright.
I'm with you on the Rams. And like, you look at it this way, right, Gabe? You beat Kansas City. You had Dallas on, prime time. And that game was a little weird because of the whole delay and everything. But who'd the Rams beat? The Rams beat the Texans, who look like they can't score, at all. And you beat the Titans, who we knew were going to be bad. But, McVay's a good coach. They're a top 10 defense all the time. The offense is there. And it's all about Stafford. That guy's healthy. This is a dangerous team. It's a dangerous team if he's in there all year long. But I'm with you. This is a good spot, I think, for them. One score game, like one possession games. Eagles pulled out 2 wins. Here comes a good defense and an offense that can score. It's not one or the other with Dallas. We know Dallas has no defense, but they can score. Kansas City has a good defense, but the offense has been struggling. Now you got a team that can do both. And like you said, a little revenge sprinkled on top. I like the Rams there.
Yeah, a little extra, little chip on their shoulder. That stuff works in college a little bit more, obviously, than the NFL, but it works in the NFL as well. Are you drinking? We're gonna run down some of these games here. Are you drinking the Colts Kool-Aid here? 2-0, laying 4.5 as Buffalo's in Dolphin territory here in the red zone, as a matter of fact. Are you drinking the Colts Kool-Aid, laying 4.5 at awful Tennessee?
I have nothing on this game, nothing on this guy, and I had Tennessee last week. Would have been my survivor pick if I survived week 1. I would have took Tennessee in a survivor and lost again. But yeah, nice start. I don't know. It didn't stick out to me. I'm
0-2 betting against the Colts. I'm scared to go against them, but
yeah, me too.
You know what I mean? I was on Miami week 1. Denver last week. Denver, we should have won. Like, that was a ridiculously stupid. He touched the center. What do you mean he touched the center? Like, it didn't affect anything. Like, I hate that. That was just such a garbage call. That one scares me. What about Pittsburgh and the Patriots? Sean, Pittsburgh Steelers. Basically,
like
a pick 'em. It's 1.5.
I like the over. I actually bet Pittsburgh for next week when they're in Europe against the Minnesota. But I like the over here. I think New England could score, and what we saw last week, the defense isn't all that great. And I think Pitt, off of a bad performance, I expect them to bounce back. I think this is an over game. Should get to like 45. Give me the over.
I hate these Euro games on the West Coast. I'm on the West Coast. It's 6:30 in the morning.
Oh, I hate them in general. They're terrible. I don't know why I got to go there.
Well, 9:30 is pretty cool on the East Coast, but yeah, so it starts next Sunday, guys. Minnesota Vikings and the Pittsburgh Steelers, 9:30 a.m. Eastern time.
I just like Pitt. Pitt's going from New England across the pond, and Minnesota's playing in Minnesota. It's a little extra voyage. Give me Pitt in a pick'em spot there, minus 120, whatever it is.
Talk with Sean Higgs, winnersandwhiners.com. Sean, hold on the line. We'll get your thoughts on the current game and then a few more from Sunday coming up here on the grid.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
I needed a mental break when the season was over. Because it's a lot. It's a lot. You get tired of training. But, man, I never get tired of playing golf. I love it. I mean, every course is different. Every day is different. And some days you're like, oh, I got this. I got it. Then you go out there and shoot a 95 the next day. Like, damn.
The Smiley Show. Only on SportsGrid.
I mean, I think so. You talk about how difficult it is to bring an expansion team into the league and have success in your first season. Like, that's fairly unheard of. And not only have success, but they're in the playoffs. So I think she certainly deserves to win Coach of the Year. There's a lot of different candidates that could potentially, you could make a case for them. But I think just with this being an expansion team and how difficult that is.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
It was nice to see that even though they couldn't follow the same blueprint as last season, or just the way that everyone thought their offense was going to run this year, Josh Jacobs struggled and Jordan Love stepped up. And if you're a Packer fan, that's what you were hoping to see, is that in the moments where you can't rely on the run, can the quarterback that you invested a lot of money into, now draft capital, putting weapons around him, rise to the occasion, and he did.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
It's the most beautiful time of the year. No, not because of foliage or pumpkin spice lattes. It's because of football. SportsGrid has you covered all season long, covering every snap, every score, and every line move. Prepare, watch, win. Weekends are for winners. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game day here on the grid. Watching Dolphins and Bills. And wow, Buffalo doesn't score a touchdown and they miss a chippy field. Well, I should say chippy, but 39-yard field goal. Basically an extra point. So, Buffalo going down the field. Yeah, I mean, it should be these days, right?
Total just fell to 51.5 because of that. Buffalo just wasted a bunch. They pulled the Raiders. They wasted a bunch of time. You know what? It's like the Dolphins getting hurt every play, like killed the momentum of the drive. Then Josh Allen ends up getting every play stop. But remember, Scott, I brought it up. Yeah, I didn't play the long field goal. I was like, I have no confidence in Prater hitting a long one. Look at this kick.
Yeah.
It's not that windy there. Like, he shanked it. That's the definition of shanking it. Good thing he made the kick with the game on the line against Baltimore, but when does Bass get back? Because that was ugly.
Wow. It's right in the center of the field, too.
This guy's missing 36 yarders, and the Cowboys play for like 65 yarders in overtime. Like, all right, let's just
that was a shame.
Play for a 62-yard field goal here.
Yeah. That wasn't he missed. That was like, dude, like what the like that's like I swear to God, you could have got like a drunk fan in the stands, like at halftime. That's what you would have seen, Wetzel. Like, like, he kicked it pretty hard, but it went like,
no pressure or anything either.
You're a pro kicker, bro. Like, he shanked it. He shanked it. It is what it is. But total foul is all the way down to 50.5 now. Yeah, you know what, though, Higgs and Sean? Aubrey's a free agent after next year. So there'll be good teams who are going to be going after him, actually. So Dallas, don't talk too much. They're going to lose him.
Yeah. Who knows? You might pay. Will you pay for a kicker? You won't pay for an edge runner. You better pay for a kicker if you're not paying for defense. You better pay for a guy who can get a field goal when you're trailing every game.
He doesn't want to pay Parsons. I don't see he's going to pay Aubrey.
Who'd you have in this game, Sean? Buffalo or Miami? You said in the break, I think you told us.
Buffalo there. Buffalo in the under. I'm Buffalo in the under 10, under 50. I did an Allen prop over 20.5 yards rushing. I have a Palmer anytime tutty for 345. So we'll see what happens there.
Man,
so
this
for what
total
you've
really
seen so far, you're actually in a pretty good spot. I mean, the field goal would have helped you, but it didn't really kill you if you got the under and you're laying 10.5. It's locked now for whatever reason, but it was 13.5 now. But you're comfortable with your double-digit laying bet on Buffalo? 13.5.
Yeah. What have we seen out of Miami? Nothing. I mean, okay, so instead of being 28-7, you missed this. So what's this going to be? 17-7 at the half, 21-10. I still feel all right. I don't know if Miami's scoring a touchdown here. I forget about the first half. I don't know if they scored another one the rest of the game. Maybe they put in a garbage one at the end. 30-14, I still get a cover here.
Yeah.
They're running
I'm a little
the ball.
more encouraged than you.
Yeah, even me. I think Miami are going to be able to. They're at midfield right now. If you'll notice, it's actually smart, right? The Bills are getting the ball to start the second half, so they're in no rush to like, we got to panic and hurry up. And they're only down one score, guys. It's 14-7. Right, so for Dolphin standpoint, if you're a Dolphin player, you're the coaching staff, you haven't quit on this game. Like it's right there for you right now.
But if
Buffalo just left the window open by getting sloppy on that last drive.
Yeah. Doesn't it feel like it's so much worse at 14-7? It feels like it's like 28-3 or something. Like it is the way it's playing.
Yeah, but that's why it's good if you're a Dolphin fan. But that's why it's good if you're a Dolphin fan, Sean. Right? I mean, you look at the scoreboard, you go into halftime and say, "Wow, we're only down 7."
Look at Tua here. Like, what is the point of throwing that? And listen, I like it because I got Achane over 5.5 receptions, but that's just a classic Miami Dolphins pass play. And you're the Wetzel, you're the Dolphin fan, so I throw it to you, and you see the play. Right? It's like, all right, we're moving the ball. Let's throw the ball sideways now and let's get Achane killed. And Tua gets his guys killed all the time because he just lobs it in there. Like, look at his play. It's like, I'm surprised Achane's not hurt now.
He doesn't read the defense. Like, you're a good quarterback. You say, okay, the guy might have a step on someone in the flat, but there's 4 guys ready to kill him. So I'm not going to throw him the ball.
He just completed a nice pass here. Xavier Howard, Scott, and Higgs played with the Dolphins long time, right?
Yeah.
He and now he's on the Colts. So Xavier Howard's on the Indianapolis Colts now. So he goes, listen, I played against Tua every day in practice. And it was kind of cold what he said. He goes, if you take away his first read, he's lost. Just point blank. That was his teammate, Scott, for years, a DB, Xavier Howard saying that. He said, if you take away his first read, he's lost. Well, so you know what? He's got that quick hit. If it's not there, then there's problems, and he starts lobbing the ball and getting people killed.
He must have told his coordinator in Indy because they really that was a massacre on opening day. Was that 33-7 or whatever? He could be right.
Felt like it was.
That was close. That was close to a lateral game. You better get. They marked it down as a reception, but 5.5. You might want to get 7 just to play it safe.
Oh, they're gonna.
That's the one they did there.
It did look backward.
It did. Yeah.
That's the worst.
He got leveled too. Jeez. All right, so 14-7. Dolphins with the ball right around midfield. They got the first. Oh, they got down to the Buffalo 41. All right, so they're moving the ball down there. I tell you, one game I do like on Sunday, Sean, is Marcus Mariota is done. You want to give me 3.5 points? I know it's the Raiders, but it's the perfect storm. They looked awful on national TV. They got to fly all the way across the country for the second time, I will say, in 3 weeks, which is not easy. But I have no faith in Marcus Mariota anymore.
The Raiders have a lot of back and forth. They're home versus the Bears next week, and I think after that they're in Indy. They're just they did them no favors. I like the Raiders. Again, you have a team that played on Monday night that looked absolutely terrible, like has no right to even be in a game. And you have a nice veteran kind of guy coming in here to take control of the reins for the injured youngster. Sign me up. I'm with you on the Raiders. Well, I'll get in the bus with you there, 3.5. I can take me off.
Hard to lay points with Mariota. It's not like Washington have looked great, even with Jaden Daniels this year. Their offense has been out of sync. Even with Jaden Daniels. You could say, it was Green Bay, but it was the same thing against the Giants.
That barely beat the Giants, yeah.
We've seen it before.
Sean, great job, man.
If you're in the Super Bowl market, if you're in the futures market, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill is heavily connected to the Kansas City Chiefs. I am sure it would be Tyreek's first place if he could pick to go back to. At least I would think it would be. And the Chiefs have a need, and the Chiefs are interested, and they're not worried about any of his other question marks.
Pro Football Today. Only on SportsGrid.
51-0, Donnie.
Yeah.
Those numbers don't lie. Georgia, every time they rush for over 200 yards, that's dating back from 2017 against FCS and FBS opponents. They don't lose. The 2 years that they won back-to-back national championships, year one, they rushed for over 208 times. Year two, when they beat TCU, that year they rushed for over 206 times.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
Look at the weather, try to look for some anytime touchdowns or maybe some props that you really feel confident about. But it's always the time for urgency, especially for a team like the New York Giants. I think that defense is something that can give Giants fans hope. And then if you get Dart under center, it's hope. And then if you can get Scatterboo out there and the whole building's going boo, it's hope. And as we know, hope works.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid.
It's the most beautiful time of the year. No, not because of foliage or pumpkin spice lattes. It's because of football. SportsGrid has you covered all season long, covering every snap, every score, and every line move. Prepare, watch, win. Weekends are for winners. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the grid. So the Dolphins, thanks to Sean Higgs, winnersandwinders.com, on the move. Got a chance to tie this game up by halftime here. Minute 48 left to go. Dolphins inside the Buffalo 25-yard line.
You're trying to reverse psychology at home. Dolphin fan. Oh, we suck. We're terrible. Feels like we're down 30. And even I say it's 14-7 only. I like your style here, Wetzel. You're trying to reverse this home. But they are in the game. They are in the game right now. The touchdown would be huge for the Dolphins, obviously. The Bills get the ball to start the second half, but let's give credit to the Dolphins. They have milk, Scott. I said, remember, it was like 4:50 left, literally 4:30, 4:50 left. And I said, yeah, the Dolphins are in no rush right now. They know the Bills get the ball back. So all the criticism of McDaniel, we got to give justice when justice is due here. The Dolphins have done a great job keeping the ball away from the Bills and not letting the Bills do a 2-for-1. So far, at least. Right. There's $1.38 left now.
Yeah. So just keep on, I'll sacrifice, it sounds crazy to say down 7, but I'll sacrifice going for a touchdown and getting 3 incompletions, kicking a field goal, and then hand the ball back to Buffalo with 45, 50 seconds left because that's going to be a field goal. Just give me the field goal, run the ball a little bit here, give me the field goal, and go in at the halftime down 14-10. If you would have told me that before the game as a Dolphin fan, plus 11.5, I'll take that. 14-10. Would like to be leading, obviously, but, at least you're still in it.
It's a game.
Yeah.
The total is exactly what it was. 50 and a half. Had no exactly what it closed. No, I think he was trying to reverse. Yeah.
He was, something, man. He was just completely dead on the
Dolphins.
Dolphins.
Still Sean, though. He likes to bet on really bad teams. He's like, they were terrible in their last game, so I want to bet on them. I understand what happened in the previous week. But it seems to be something he's hanging his hat on quite a bit. Oh, yeah, they were bad in the last, the Charlotte game was the best. They're terrible. They can't do this.
Yeah.
Why you take them?
Yeah. Didn't you just tell me you took Charlotte plus the 5.5 or whatever it was, right? I mean, what am I missing here? Sounds like Cam, right? So we got a timeout, exactly. 47 seconds left. How's our boys doing? What do we got here? 14-9 at the half, Rice and Charlotte. All right. You're over 43.
We got a 5-point game.
Decent. You got a 5-point game with a backup
in the football. But we got a 5-point game and a WNBA game as well, though. The Fever are not going away. They're not going away. 80-75 right now. Still quite a bit of time left, too. 6.5 left. Man, it's a real track meet, man. So they're at 100. Scott, I think it could go over 181.5 because the Fever aren't going to quit. They're going to foul on the way out here.
Right.
Well, I don't know after 55. Watching the last 2 nights. I shouldn't say that, actually. The WNBA, they don't foul on the way out. I take it back. God, that was angering last night. I had the over 151, bro. They're at 149. I was literally yelling, foul, foul. I was like, not again. Don't do this again. And then they did it again. I was like, you can't make this up.
I left, I was disgusted because I was watching Red Sox A's and the A's put runners on first for nobody out in the extra innings, right? And I was so ticked off that they were going to lose that game. So I went into the kitchen, out of the office to go make a little dinner. Came back, so I missed the end of the WNBA game. I saw the highlights of it. Now, something wasn't right because I saw the highlights of the second to last possession and the team got a basket. And they were saying there were 25 seconds left on the clock. But then when they showed the next possession, there was 28 seconds left on the clock. I don't know if that was just a TV thing. What would be the difference, Scott? The difference would be if there was 25 seconds left for the final possession, they would have had to foul. So I don't know how they gained time, even though it came strange later in the game. What happened?
They stopped it after the basket, and there was a challenge. Everything was getting challenged all the time. Yeah, okay. So the coach of Golden State got 2.7 seconds at it or whatever to it after. But yeah, it was bizarre.
Okay.
And I actually thought, Scott, the same thing. And because I thought the same thing when I first saw it. I was 25.6 left. And my first thought was, well, you're going to have to foul. You guys, you can't be stupid enough. No, you have to. There's 24, 25. Yeah. And the next thing you knew, it was it's 27.2 or something. Either way, it was it was weird at the end. But they got a look. It was a bad look with 2.8 seconds left. I don't get why they do what they do in the WNBA with this. But the Fever have cut the lead to 2, Scott. It's 80-78 right now. Oh, boy. Wow. We got a game going on.
Could you imagine if Indiana wins that? And we got the Dolphins at the Buffalo 9, 3rd and 2. I'm not sure which is more crazier. Dolphins tying up Buffalo or Indiana tying up. Yeah, wow.
you're in the Super Bowl market, if you're in the futures market, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill is heavily connected to the Kansas City Chiefs. I am sure it would be Tyreek's first place if he could pick to go back to. At least I would think it would be. And the Chiefs have a need, and the Chiefs are interested, and they're not worried about any of his other question marks.
Pro Football Today. Only on SportsGrid.
51-0, Donnie. Yeah. Those numbers don't lie. Georgia, every time they rush for over 200 yards, that's dating back from 2017 against FCS and FBS opponents. They don't lose. The 2 years that they won back-to-back national championships, year one, they rushed for over 208 times. Year two, when they beat TCU, that year they rushed for over 206 times.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
Look at the weather, try to look for some anytime touchdowns or maybe some props that you really feel confident about. But it's always the time for urgency, especially for a team like the New York Giants. I think that defense is something that can give Giants fans hope. And then if you get Dart under center, it's hope. And then if you can get Scatterboo out there and the whole building's going boo, it's hope. And as we know, hope works.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid.
It's the most beautiful time of the year. No, not because of foliage or pumpkin spice lattes. It's because of football. SportsGrid has you covered all season long, covering every snap, every score, and every line move. Prepare, watch, win. Weekends are for winners. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the Grid. How about that? Dolphins tie up the Buffalo Bills. Where was that play last week? A simple little, this was exactly what I was calling for. Put a couple wide receivers to the right, couple to the left. The inside guy does a little two-step slant in the middle. You can't defend that, and boom, Waddle gets the reception from Tua Tags, and it's 14 all with 8 seconds left to go in the first half. Wow, 6.5 the number is down to, and the over-under pretty much where it started, game 52.5. And barring something crazy here, we're going to have a tie game, albeit Buffalo getting the ball first. But that was, listen, that was a 14-point swing. Buffalo driving. They screw it up. They missed the field goal. Dolphins get the ball. They go the length of the field. They use up the entire clock, basically. And, they went to halftime square one. Not bad if you're a Miami fan.
This is the Bills, and this has been a fault of theirs over the years, in which they'll play up or down to the level of competition. And as I stated, it's these type of games that are the reason why they don't get to the Super Bowl, because then they end up on the road in the playoffs, right? They've got to minimize the amount of games that they play, get home field advantage. And listen, the Bills, we talked about it before the game started. The Bills 0-7. I don't like just hanging my hat on trends, but I know this is a Bills fan. The Bills are 0-7 the last 7 times. They've been favored by 10 or more points as a home favorite. Like, they really do play up or down. And, the Josh Allen heroics will come a little bit later on. I still think the Bills are going to pull it out. They're minus 600 on the money line right now. Updated number, I see Bills 6.5, over under 51.5, minus 600 money line.
All right, so we are at the half. We'll let that simmer a little bit, let the computers put some numbers in. In the meantime, let's bring in Brady Cannon, Sports Grid host. You see it here all the time here on the Grid, and get his thoughts on the first half of this game. Brady, Scott, and Gabe, how are you today, bud?
Good ball game. Great to be with you guys. I love the dual jerseys there. Scott sporting the jersey and Gabe in the Bills hoodie. Nice. I like that. Little AFC East battle here on In-Game Live.
I got my coach's jacket on today, Brady. Good to see you. My shot. I'm ready to go. Put me in, Coach. Let's go.
Well,
are you surprised about this game?
No, I think this is what a lot of people expected. I expected this was going to be closer than the 11 or 12 point spread. I do believe the Bills will win the football game. I expected it would be anywhere between 4 and 8 point victory for Buffalo. But I think most importantly, I expected a lot of points because not only Ed Oliver and Matt Milano out on that Buffalo defense, but they've also been averaging on defense, giving up 6 yards per play through the first 2 weeks. So, their defense has not been incredibly stout. We know how powerful their offense is. The other thing here, the one thing Miami has on defense that's decent is a pass rush, but it has not been effective so far this season. And is there any quarterback in the NFL that's more difficult to sack than Josh Allen? No, probably not. So you've got a team that can't generate a pass rush against a guy that, is the reigning MVP. I figured they were going to go back and forth and score points here. And that's what they've done. We're on an over pace at this point, a little bit. I think it'll continue in the second half. And again, I think you're looking at a, 4 to 6 to 8 point Buffalo victory at some way, somehow. Like you kind of said, Gabe, Josh will figure it out and they'll win the ball game.
Considering we're at 28, doesn't that sort of it does, and I'm always, I almost want a Saint, the adults in the room, so to speak, because I always think, oh yeah, the game's going to pick up, it's going to go over. But as you say to Brady, I did like the over this game to begin with, but we're at 28 points right now, and the Bills, there hasn't been a flurry of offense. I guess, me and Scott were talking about a new trend in the NFL, Brady, it seems early in the season, is long drives. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
These quarters are going quickly. Like, teams are eating up 6-7 minutes. They might get a field goal. If they don't, it sets back the total quite a bit. But with all that choppiness in the first half, we still got to 28 points. So even 52.5 kind of feels a little bit light, doesn't it?
Yeah, I can't argue with you. Just traditional thinking would be to say go under in the second half because, we're figuring on trusting the original number here. It's going to land right around 50. Are they going to score more than 28 points in the second half? I honestly wouldn't be surprised because I think Buffalo's offense has been basically doing anything they wanted to do. They shank a field goal there, what have you. But, James Cook is really running the ball well. I think the offense will – I think for both teams, really, the offense will continue to thrive in the second half. And it'll be interesting to see if the Dolphins – I think tit for tat can go on for a while. But like I say, eventually the better team's going to hang in there. I thought that's a good, I think, rule of thumb to bet in almost any sport, but especially football. If you like the underdog, bet him in the first half. The Dolphins covered by a mile here in the first half. Now, is that double-digit underdog going to be able to hang around for the entire 60 minutes? Probably not. And eventually the favorite's going to pull away here.
I tell you what, the best job to have in the NFL is punter. Neither team has punted.
The
2.5
punter,
games,
the Dolphins
Are there
punter,
punters
the Bills
anymore? I
punter.
didn't know there were still punters in the NFL. It's good. What's that? Punt. Hey, let me just throw this quickly. Actually, you know what? There's still a minute and a half left, so they got to wait, Scott. Because I was just going to say, you know how the women are with the WNBA. It is 9:30 right now. So the Storm and the Aces technically should be starting. I doubt they start with a minute and a half left in this other game, right? It's 85-82 fever. And Brady's in Vegas. I just bring it up. And Brady, I like the Aces tonight. 17-game win streak got blown up the other night. They blew a 14-point lead in the second half of the game. I think they handled their business tonight. And both games have not sailed. Well, game one sailed over. They got to 179 with a total of 160. And we got to 167 with a total of 162 the other night. Now, guys, the total is 159 tonight. I think we get there again. So I'll just throw it out there, and just my last words on that. Give me the Aces minus the points. Give me the over in the basketball game, and give me Asia Wilson over 10.5 rebounds.
Is the number still 8.5 as far as the spread?
Yes, sir. Yeah. It's been bouncing around. It hit
7.5 on the road at Seattle. And I thought that 8 seemed a little aggressive, but, if they were favored by 7.5 on the road, then why is it only 8.5 here in Las Vegas? So, yeah, I stayed away. My initial glance was the 8.5 looked a little heavy, but this team has been on such a roll, it wouldn't surprise me if they bounce back in a big way.
Yeah. It's been a weird series. They were only 5.5 favorites in game one. Then 4.5, they win by 30 or 25, whatever it was, 102-77. And then it only, it was 4.5 on the road, and then now it's back to being like a monster 8.5 point spread. So I like Vegas as well, and I think we get some points in this one. Of course, I played Atlanta too. They're up 3 with 1:05 left. Looks like we have a timeout on the court. So best of 3 deciding games for both teams. So back to the NFL. At the half, any prop plays that you like? It's weird. We haven't had any punts, but the numbers aren't gaudy as far as, Tua is thrown for 66 yards. Josh Allen, 97. They're giving you 225 for Allen, $185 for Tua. Anything jump off the page prop-wise for you?
Nah, I think there's going to be offense. If you want to lean into that with any of your props, I think you can continue to go down that road. I like this kid Gordon that's running the ball for Miami. Maybe you play him for another touchdown or something like that. He seems to absolutely be their short yardage guy, their power back. If they have, goal to go inside the 3-yard line again, he seems to be the guy that they're going to turn to.
I will tell you also, Milwaukee is leading out now the Angels 3-2. They're going for their 18th straight win with Quinn Priester on the hill. That is, I don't know what the record is. Maybe it's like 20-25, whatever it is. If that's not it, that's still impressive. It's 17 straight wins, and now they've come back. They were down 2-0 early. They're now laying 60-1 because they got a 3-2
one of the best
lead
bets in
in
sports. Really has been.
I mean, just like, it's amazing. Talk with Brady Cannon. We'll get some thoughts from Brady on some of the games on Sunday when we come back in Game Live.
If you're in the Super Bowl market, if you're in the futures market, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill is heavily connected to the Kansas City Chiefs. I am sure it would be Tyreek's first place if he could pick to go back to. At least I would think it would be. And the Chiefs have a need, and the Chiefs are interested, and they're not worried about any of his other question marks.
Pro Football Today. Only on SportsGrid.
51-0, Donnie. Yeah. Those numbers don't lie. Georgia, every time they rush for over 200 yards, that's dating back from 2017 against FCS and FBS opponents. They don't lose. The 2 years that they won back-to-back national championships, year one, they rushed for over 208 times. Year two, when they beat TCU, that year they rushed for over 206 times.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
Look at the weather, try to look for some anytime touchdowns or maybe some props that you really feel confident about. But it's always the time for urgency, especially for a team like the New York Giants. I think that defense is something that can give Giants fans hope. And then if you get Dart under center, it's hope. And then if you can get Scatterboo out there and the whole building's going boo, it's hope. And as we know, hope works.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid.
It's the most beautiful time of the year. No, not because of foliage or pumpkin spice lattes. It's because of football. SportsGrid has you covered all season long, covering every snap, every score, and every line move. Prepare, watch, win. Weekends are for winners. Only on SportsGrid.
right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Gabe, hour number 2. So we're watching the NFL. They're at the half, 14 all. We'll get back to that when the game resumes here. We're thinking about the 5-10 minutes or so. We're talking with Brady Cannon. College football, Rice scored again 21-9 over Charlotte. Did like that play, 48.5 and 15.5. At WNBA, 7 seconds left, and Indiana leads at Atlanta. They have rounded their first lead since early second quarter. Unbelievable. 86-85. Moment of truth where, Gabe, you're getting, and Brady, you're going to need coaching, right? The Atlanta head coach has got to design a play. You got 7 seconds left, almost 8 seconds. If you're a good head coach, good organization, you find a play to get an open shot. They've thrown up a couple of bricks here, I will say, in their last couple of possessions.
This is such an Atlanta thing to do, guys, huh? Like Atlanta sports. Blown leads, underachieving, bad losses. It just never ends. They were in control of this game. They were in control of this playoff series. And here they are right now trailing. I'm going to say that they score, Scott and Brady. So it's 86-85. The Aces, the Fever just called a timeout. So they were on the court. They wanted to see what everybody was, Atlanta called a timeout after they saw the defense. They've got 8 seconds to score. They're down 1. I say they score, Scott and Brady. Brady, me and Scott watch a lot of WNBA. We got a playoff game.
They're not scored.
You say no.
They're not. No, they're not. I got them on the money line. They're not scoring. They couldn't even inbound the ball.
Me too.
Let alone score.
I'm
they
with
couldn't
Gabe.
even inbound the freaking
I'm with
ball.
Gabe. I think they're going to score.
Yeah, hey, Brady, I like your style. 8 seconds, 7.4 now after the timeout. Atlanta ball. Let's go. 1 point to send overtime even.
Yeah, just drive to the basket, get fouled, right? And we say this all the time in the NBA. Just drive to the basket. You know they're going to foul you. 1 second left, I see, on the clock. That can't be
1 second left. Wow.
I'm watching.
Something happened.
I'm watching right now, but it's I got a stream, so I'm a little bit behind. I'm seeing the play here right now, but
I'm waiting.
Yeah, this is such an Atlanta thing to do. Like this is really like
Braves. Yeah,
the Falcons 28-3.
Falcons.
It's all
Hawks never win. You could have the greatest player in the world, Dominique. You always lose in the playoffs.
I show Indiana stole the ball.
Let's see.
They fouled him.
How about that?
There you go.
A turnover?
So after all that, the inbound, they screwed up the inbound.
Yeah, I told you. They couldn't even inbound it before. They had to call a timeout.
They didn't even get a shot. They didn't even get a shot off. They screwed up the inbound.
God, that's really bad.
Caitlin Clark's going crazy on the sideline right now.
Yeah.
We're going to have a second left.
Yeah, and then they wasted a bunch. Yeah, it's over. Like, it'd be a hell. Like, it's done. I cannot believe this.
Yeah.
I'm getting killed on these moneyline parlays this week in this league.
I know. There goes the PP, the public parlay, right? Atlanta, Las Vegas, Buffalo. We may end up losing 2 out of those 3.
8-4 aces. Now the pressure's on. The aces better cover. God, this league, man. The Indiana Fever advance. Unbelievable. They win 87.
They got nobody playing for them, Gabe. They got people in the stands playing for the Fever. Everybody's hurt. How the hell are they beating a team that was 17-3 their last 20 games?
Because they're a bunch of chokers in Atlanta.
Unbelievable. All right. Yeah. Doubling down on Las Vegas. 8-4. We need a nice little 102. We got spoiled with the 102-77 wins by both these teams. But we need that tonight for Las Vegas. Can you imagine if Vegas loses?
What about the Falcons, Brady? Speaking of Atlanta, the Falcons, 5.5-point road favorites. Is that a little chalky coming off a primetime road game that they just played on Sunday night?
Well, it's been steamed up, too. I think it opened around 3.5 and was immediately bet up. And I tend to agree with that. Now it's starting to get a little high for my blood, but I do prefer the Falcons side. I think, this offseason narrative about the Panthers are going to be improved, and we saw Bryce Young do really well in the last few games. Now it's not happening. They're still not very good. They still, despite addressing a lot of the issues that they had on defense by drafting a lot of players, free agency, what have you, the defense still has issues. Now, the other thing, guys, this is a really interesting week 3, because I think these point spreads and so much is built on public perception. you know, this game right here tonight is a perfect example. You've got the big bad Buffalo Bills and the 0-2 Miami Dolphins, who have looked absolutely awful. It feels to me like Buffalo's going to win the game, but that Miami's going to cover that big spread. And I think there's a lot of games out there like that this weekend. Like maybe Carolina only loses by 3. How about the Saints going to Seattle? Are they really going to lose by 7.5, 8 points? I kind of doubt it. You know, Circus
is
Survivor.
That a Survivor? Yeah, I was going to ask you quickly. Does Seattle scare you?
Hard.
Does Seattle scare you?
Yeah, because you know it's like you're trying to thread the needle. There's these teams that are supposed to win the game, but I kind of feel like the dog is going to cover, and that's a scary situation if you're just betting on that favorite to win the game outright, but you think the other team's going to cover, because we all know the team that covers the spread wins the game about 85% of the time, meaning either favorites win and cover or underdogs, when they cover, they win outright. So I think,
and we
you got
waste
the
all our
Colts and the
time
Titans.
talking point spreads, and point spreads only come into play 13% of the time. It's amazing.
You're exactly right.
Oh, I
You're
like
exactly
it
right.
this, I like it at that. It's like it doesn't matter. 87% of the time, it won't matter.
Rarely do you have a favorite win and dog cover, and it feels like we're kind of, as Survivor players and against the spread players, we're rooting for a lot of those scenarios this weekend.
Great point.
How about the Lions? How about the Lions beat a 5.5-point dog at Baltimore? When's the last time Detroit's been that big of an underdog? I thought that line would be like 2.5 or 3, maybe, Grady.
Doesn't it feel like they could get blown out?
I made it 3. Scott. I'm kind of with you. But I'm not going to play the game. I don't believe that I'll have a play in that game. Maybe I would look it over the total, but I have not landed on any side that I feel good about in that game so far.
Yeah. You want to give me 5.5 points with the lines by the hook, get it up to 6? I will definitely take my chances, because they're
you
more
see
than
5.5 now.
Oh, by the way, yeah, FanDuel's got 5.5.
Wow,
yeah,
that's pretty big.
So, yeah. Brady, great job. As always, we'll do it again soon. Thanks, man.
If you're in the Super Bowl market, if you're in the futures market, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill is heavily connected to the Kansas City Chiefs. I am sure it would be Tyreek's first place if he could pick to go back to. At least I would think it would be. And the Chiefs have a need, and the Chiefs are interested, and they're not worried about any of his other question marks.
Pro Football Today. Only on SportsGrid.
51-0, Donnie. Yeah. Those numbers don't lie. Georgia, every time they rush for over 200 yards, that's dating back from 2017 against FCS and FBS opponents. They don't lose. The 2 years that they won back-to-back national championships, year one, they rushed for over 208 times. Year two, when they beat TCU, that year they rushed for over 206 times.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
Look at the weather, try to look for some anytime touchdowns or maybe some props that you really feel confident about. But it's always the time for urgency, especially for a team like the New York Giants. I think that defense is something that can give Giants fans hope. And then if you get Dart under center, it's hope. And then if you can get Scatterboo out there and the whole building's going boo, it's hope. And as we know, hope works.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid.
It's the most beautiful time of the year. No, not because of foliage or pumpkin spice lattes. It's because of football. SportsGrid has you covered all season long, covering every snap, every score, and every line move. Prepare, watch, win. Weekends are for winners. Only on SportsGrid.
Hi, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. If I'm going to lose, at least let me get my fantasy points out of this. Dalton Kincaid, who's on my fantasy team, down to the 1 yard line, Gabe. Just put your nose down, brother, and just barrel yourself in there. Come on. He's tackled
He was right there. He was right there.
Man.
And here's Cook. Get it in there, Cook. All right. The pizza's been delivered. The Cook gets it done. James Cook. All right.
Wow. Opening drive, right down the field they go.
You got to get him a touchdown a game. He's so good. He's such a big part of the team. Yeah. You got to get him involved, and boom, there it is. I didn't play Josh tonight, and it's crazy. You can't play everyone with the Bills. The Bills they're very Patriot-like. Remember when the Patriots were great? It was very difficult, from a fantasy perspective or a prop perspective.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, man. They give it to like 3 different running backs. They play games. It might be Hernandez.
Past
it might be
12,000 different receivers.
Yeah. Oh, it's Edelman this time. Oh, it's some dude you don't know off the bench, and Belichick wants to, whatever. Like it's so the Bills are very. You got to think about it. Like Josh isn't the priority. He's already the guy. So you think, all right, Cook is the guy. Kincaid is a must play though. And I'm kicking myself. I played Kincaid over receptions this week, and we did hit it. But it was one of those deals where tonight I couldn't play everybody, Scott. Like, and to be honest, it's because of the way the week has gone. You know what I mean? Like, we played a bunch of NFL games where I have 4 or 5 touchdown scores, and there's 1 touchdown, or there's no touchdowns. I knew there'd be touchdowns tonight, but I couldn't, I wasn't going to play 6 Bills. So I was sort of like, I'm playing Cook. Cook is the guy. And everybody always stresses out about Josh, but Josh only runs it into the end zone, guys, if he has to. And you saw it with that play with Knox. He could have ran it in, but he's cool. He's like, I've got the girl. I've got $280 million. Like, I don't need it. Like, let's hook Dawson Knox up. Like, Josh is a team guy. That's why they love him.
Well, they handed it off to Cook, and he went in from, a yard out or so, a yard or 2 yards out. So it's 21-14. Buffalo has taken the lead first possession, second half. Again, it's not for defense. I mean, it's comical. I don't know if there's ever been a time where you could go through 3 games, and we have obviously somewhat left in this game, but they've forced 2 punts in 3 games. It's mind-blowing. It really is. I never heard. And it's not like, they're forcing 5,000 turnovers, so there's no punts. No, they're letting score. I'm going to do it after the show and figure out how many drives each game, how many times the opposing team has scored. But I know it's only 2 punts, and it's only been 2 drives that they've allowed the punts, and then there were like 1 or 2 others where they took a knee before halftime. So if you throw those out of the window, they've allowed points in all but 2 of their drives this year. 3.
That's amazing.
They missed the field goal.
We got to be getting into record territory. Right. And whether numbers don't lie, they've given up 66 points coming into tonight. So 33 points a game you're giving up. That's not good. Like, that's not good in the NCAA. Like, it's not good.
That's not good for basketball. That's not good for basketball.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you're in the Sun Belt, you're in trouble. So, we're giving up 33 points. Well, we're probably not very good. But, hey, the Dodgers and Giants, a big series. Amazing. Hey, we go from the Phillies. If you're the Dodgers, no reprieve. Right into San Francisco. Let me just throw some numbers out there for everybody, guys. Logan Webb is kind of hitting a wall here, Scott. He's given up 18 hits, 14 earned runs in his last 16 and a third innings versus the Dodgers this year. San Francisco's bullpen. Talk about the Dodgers bullpen, San Francisco's bullpen. They've given up 21 runs this week in the last 5 games. San Francisco is hitting $160 over their last 5 games. So they're not hitting. Their bullpen's falling apart. Yamamoto's only given up 3 runs in his last 22 innings. And the Dodgers light Webb up. The Dodgers, Scott, are hitting .336 against Webb. I'm taking the Dodgers at -170, but I know you like the base props and the RBIs and all that, Scott. It's like pick your poison, bro, or pick your dessert. Like, they all have big numbers. Ohtani, Freeman, Bats, Muncy. Like, Muncy's got 6 home runs against Webb in his career. The Dodgers light Webb up. Just bringing that up.
Yeah, Giants are running out of gas. It looked good there for a while, but they're 2-6 their last 8 games. Losing to teams that they just, they can't lose, whether it's Arizona, whether it was the Dodgers series, and now it's back to the Dodgers again. So that's already won today, so they got to win just to keep pace. I like the Dodgers in the game. I'm rooting the other way around. I am. So, but 16-8 their last 24 sounds good, but 2-6 their last 8 is the reality for the San Francisco Giants. So the season's starting to fade. Clayton Kershaw announcing his retirement at the end of the year today. Interesting. We'll talk about that when we come back.
If you're in the Super Bowl market, if you're in the futures market, that's a big